Hello everyone. This is Aria here to present to you an introductory video prepared by Will Duckworth, lead strategist at Narrowgate Trading. Will developed a system for day trading foreign currency pairs, or Forex, which he calls Numerical Price Prediction, or NPP. And this is going to be the first of what will hopefully be a series of videos showing you step by step how to apply his system to trading the financial markets profitably, whether it be day, swing or position trading Forex, cryptocurrencies, stocks, indices, commodities, or any other financial asset. First of all, Will wants to be sure you understand where he's coming from, or more specifically that for him, trading is all about the numbers. Will would point you in the direction of Gareth Soloway, who perhaps says it best. In the words of Soloway, essentially the way you want to operate is to let the charts tell you what to do. In other words, most retail traders and investors, even institutional investors, try to push their personal ideas on the charts or companies or cryptos, and this is a detriment, especially if you're someone who wants to trade actively and make a good income along the lines of thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Instead, you have to be disciplined and logical, and unbelievably so. Of course, you can and should watch the news, but only with the intention of letting it inform you, which is to say, you cannot and should not let it influence you. You have to maintain an even keel at all times. You have to look at everything and then make up your own mind based on what makes sense, which is just another way of saying the numbers, the data, the statistics, and not on whatever hype or fear is being spread in the media or any other nonsense. To accomplish this, numerical price prediction relies on a methodology similar to that used by meteorologists to predict the weather, one based as much as possible on statistical analysis and mathematical probability. The idea is to gather and evaluate precise, up-to-date quantitative data, and use it to calculate the odds of price reaching designated values within a given time period by patterning the system's elements after the equations, wave functions, and computer models used in weather forecasting. So then, as suggested by Peter Resnick, decisions are ultimately made based on market-generated information, meaning technical analysis, and not on the non-market information referred to as fundamental analysis. Obviously, there are individuals like Jarrett Davis, a successful Forex trader who credits his accomplishments to fundamental analysis and is known for advocating a fundamental approach to trading foreign currency pairs. Apparently, Davis experienced very little success until he abandoned a technical approach in favor of fundamentals. However, here at Narrowgate, we can only assume that Jarrett was simply never able to identify the signs of the times that can make what is happening in the markets all but obvious. And since we have cause to believe that this is something we have indeed managed to do, for us it comes down to ruling reason, which again is just another way of saying the numbers, or the math, if you will, the summation of all those correlating data points that are a part of market-generated information. Even so, numerical price prediction has any number of naysayers who denigrate our approach, criticizing it for not being supported by 100 years or more of backtesting and what have you. But just a quick glance at this configuration illustrates and makes painfully obvious how these kinds of critiques are just plain silly. In addition to mirroring numerical weather prediction, our system is designed to more or less reflect the principles of flight dynamics, which use the laws of physics to explain how forces act on vessels to govern their performance, stability, and control, to ultimately determine their velocity and attitude with respect to time. So in the same way pilots know a Boeing 787 Dreamliner is lifting off the ground as it angles upward at 2 to 3 degrees per second with a maximum angle of 10 to 15 degrees. And be confident that the same outcome will take place, whether these protocols are followed at any point in the past or future. By using numerical price prediction, retail traders can know whether an asset is rising or falling from the perspective of a day swing or position trader, without stressing out over whether it's resting on hundreds of years of backtesting. As long as up remains up and down remains down, There is little to no basis on which to assume it's going to ever stop working at any point in the future. Again, similar to an aviator's knowing whether he or she is gaining or losing ground by monitoring key levels, including standard and local barometric pressure, ground and mean sea levels, and signals from vertical speed indicators, glide slopes and the like. Numerical price prediction has isolated the parameters dictating whether a given asset is rising or falling, within the domain of all possible values. So as you can imagine, the notion that there are no best moving averages to use when trading is not one to which we subscribe. As already stated, at the heart of our system is the use of carefully selected baselines and channels, which we calculated in an extremely rigorous manner. And yes, we are quite aware that individuals such as Norm Fosbach, the former head of the Institute for Econometric Research, believe there are no magic numbers in trend following, and that it should be a basic requirement of any moving average trend following system that practically all moving average lengths predict successfully to a greater or lesser degree. Moreover, we are also aware of the contention that the moving average one chooses is not as important as getting familiar with the way in which price interacts with it. But with all due respect, we regard both of these contentions as total rubbish. The way we see it, even Fosbach's own statement suggests the possibility that there might indeed be, using his language, magic numbers in trend following. For if practically all moving average lengths predict successfully to a greater or lesser degree, it follows that those which predict successfully to a greater degree are the better moving averages, which would in turn infer that the moving average which predicts successfully to the greatest degree is the best moving average of all. So then, one simply needs to wade through all the data to arrive at the one moving average which is superior. This is why the idea of applying the exact same standard settings, i.e., the 10, 20, 50, 100, and 200 period moving averages, to all the different time frames, whether 5-minute, hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly charts, always struck Will as counterintuitive, and this is why there are just a handful of carefully selected baselines and channels that control everything we do. This means that traders using NPP can buy and sell based on objective, proprietary criteria that leads to an edge over traders relying solely on more standard or traditional approaches. Believe it or not, the design of numerical price prediction was based on 5 biblical principles. 1. Test everything and hold fast only to that which proves valid and reliable. 2. Systems generally operate at peak performance when the interactions between their component parts evidence strong, healthy relationships. 3. The best plans are usually established in the presence of a multitude of counselors. 4. Rightly interpreting the signs of the times is an absolute necessity. And 5. Positive outcomes are typically the result of having made good choices. Testing everything and only holding fast to that which is good led Will to reject many strategies wholeheartedly endorsed by any number of trading gurus, such as Elliott waves, Fibonacci ratios, harmonic patterns, pivot points, and the like. Moreover, when strategies involving moving average convergence divergence, stochastic oscillators, the relative strength index, the commodity channel index, the average directional movement index, and other indicators failed to live up to their reputations, he had no qualms about discarding them entirely and searching elsewhere for the signs of the times, which, if interpreted correctly, would result in market forecasts of unusual accuracy. As already mentioned, it turned out he found that the absolute best atmospheric barometer, in a manner of speaking, for predicting the direction in which an exchange rate might ultimately be headed, was nothing more than a simple moving average, with a handful of key moving averages evidencing superior accuracy in this role. Yet, rather than merely thinking of trends as being represented solely by lines, numerical price prediction also conceptualizes them as taking the form of belts as well, with the location of price within the expanse of values constituting the width of these oscillating bands, being just as important when deciding exactly when and where to enter and exit positions as the general direction in which each breadth of values is headed. Accordingly, final decisions on when to buy and when to sell are always made based on the consensus of various input data sampled in multiple timeframes. Data which includes baselines, market structure, temporal support and resistance, horizontal support and resistance, price ranges, and reoccurring chart patterns. Moreover, the system incorporates the idea of cycle theory, which holds that cyclical forces, both long and short, drive price movements and can be used to anticipate turning points. It's also compatible with Edgar Peters's fractal market hypothesis, which views financial markets as fractal in the sense that they follow cyclical and replicable patterns, ones consisting of fragmented shapes that break down into parts which then replicate the shape of the whole. And with that, we believe we've provided you with enough background information to set your feet on solid ground as you begin viewing our subsequent informational videos, which will unveil the step-by-step principles, routines, and protocols that constitute our innovative trading system. These upcoming videos will not only demystify how the system functions, but will also equip you with practical strategies to enhance your journey toward becoming a successful and profitable retail trader. We invite you to join us on this transformative path, as you won't want to miss out on what could be one of the greatest opportunities you have ever encountered. So don't forget to subscribe below so you can receive notifications about new videos directly to your feed and stay up to date on each new lesson right as it goes live. In the meantime, get ready to embark on this exciting discovery and prepare to seize the potential that awaits you.